and welcome to the Healthy Half Hour podcast. We are your hosts, Richard and Karen Inslee.
The Healthy Half Hour podcast is your resource for all things healthy, and we will be discussing how to make nutrition, fitness and lifestyle choices work for you.
We will be sharing our own personal insights along with research gathered from working in the health and fitness industry for the past 10 years.
Our show is brought to you by the 7 Day Shred, which can be found at 7dayshred.com, and please feel free to visit our podcast website, which can be found at healthyhalfhourpodcast.com.
And now on to today's show.
Everybody, it's that time of year where...
The end of the year.
Well, yeah, but it's that week where you really don't know where you are because it's in between Christmas. We've had that in between Christmas and New Year time. And...
I'm at home. I'm at home.
What do you mean?
You said you don't know where you are.
Oh. And you kind of like, it's that time in between Christmas and New Year that you don't know what day it is or... what you should be doing because like you're just like so disjointed. It's
and you posted the old adage the other day, it's not what you eat between...
It's not what you eat between Christmas and New Year, it's what you eat between New Year and Christmas.
And yes.
Mm-hmm.
We've all heard that one. Mm-hmm. So yes, it is the time of year, like I say, New Year's Eve 2019, it's 2020 tomorrow, and yeah, people are going to start to make New Year's resolutions, and the gyms are going to fill up, and all of the usual suspects, and basically we're kind of here to not put you off making New Year's resolutions, but trying to make it a bit more permanent, make it more of a habit, make it more of part of your lifestyle. And we're just basically going to talk about that. We're going to talk about not biting off more than you can chew. Statistic Queen's got a couple of stats she's going to throw at you left, right and centre, and we're going to kind of go from there. So, and again, I think we've talked about it before, but why do we wait for the new year to make resolutions? Why do we wait till Monday to start a diet? And it's hyperbolic discounting.
Oh, that's a big word.
It's two big words.
And we know that you can't start a diet on any other day of the week except Monday or the 1st of January. And 1st of January is a Wednesday.
Yes.
So
horror.
Like,
that's it. We're done for the year. We're going to have to wait.
And sorry, go on.
So hyperbolic discounting, I've told them the big words. And so what it is due to human nature, we put less value on things in the future than what we do in the present. So you're eating a strawberry jam donut and somebody says to you, oh, well, we're going to give up jam donuts next week. And you're going, well, I couldn't give this donut up now, but next week it'll be easier because in your mind, there's less value in a week's time to a jam donut than what there is right away. We didn't, but somebody did a study with students and they offered them $50 today, or in 2 months' time, they'd give them $100. And the majority of them chose $50 today because in a 2 months' time or a month's time, whatever it may be, there was less value in that $100 because they could see the $50 now and they could spend it now. So again, it's nothing wrong with us. It's just how we think.
And everybody wants everything now. So when it comes to New Year's resolutions, it's always that, oh, I want it like now, instant. And like they almost are like forcing the issue, like, and trying to like speed up the process.
And again, this time of year, it's where the diet industry makes its money, and gyms make their money from like year-long subscriptions. It's like florists on Mother's Day. I mean, there are days or times of the year,
Valentine's Day, when
you're going to make your money. And really, like I say, the diet industry now, it's going to be turned over. I mean, I was talking to a client last week and she says, oh, don't judge me, but I've bought a cleanse from one of the companies or whatever else. I says, whatever you want to do. I says, that's entirely your choice.
And a lot of people go for these like detoxes, and I hate that word. If you eat like whole foods, it's a detox on your body. But I always like say that like detoxes are usually for MLM companies to like make money out of you. But my analogy is if your liver and kidneys aren't working properly, you need a hospital, not a detox and a cleanse. So stop wasting money on these like garbage products that you could actually just do with whole foods. And at the end of the day, these cleanses, I mean, I'm going back to that, it's not what you eat between Christmas and New Year, it's what you eat between New Year and Christmas. But if you weren't filling your body full of garbage, then you wouldn't feel the need for those like cleanses. And at the end of the day, those cleanses, detoxes are just to help you feel less sluggish. So just like, we're not saying like don't indulge over Christmas, but a lot of people eat like it's their last supper, don't they?
Well, yeah, and again, we said in the last podcast, I mean, we were going to, it seemed like buffet after buffet after buffet, and all we did is just dialed the meals back to one meal a day. And I've not weighed myself this week, for a few weeks actually, but everything seems to fit like it normally does. So, I mean, no damage done. Yes, there are probably some sugary things we wouldn't normally eat, but like we said, you're out, it's Christmas, but people tend to eat and then eat again just in case. And then there's always the liquid calories that you've got to kind of watch out for, and they can sometimes bite you in the butt. So again, with resolutions, yes, I made a New Year's resolution in 2013 to not to drink any alcohol again, and I'm still with it now. So, I mean, not to say that they don't work or I'm just sad. I don't know which one it is. But again, it's, it's not a short-term thing, so you really got to try and look at it long-term. And one of the big things we see with New Year's resolutions is people bite off way more than they can chew, pardon the pun. So they take all these things on, I'm going to eat clean, I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week, and they pile all these things on into their already busy lives, and guess what? It's unsustainable. So it's finding something that is sustainable that's going to last you long-term.
Resolutions are almost like demands that we put on ourselves. Like we say that there's like no room for failure, and we often feel ashamed and disappointed if we don't reach our goal. But like those demands on ourselves and looking at it as a failure if you don't reach those like New Year's goals, it's a negative analogies, like negative like thought process. So again, it's going to like increase your stress levels, increase cortisol, and that's going to have a negative effect on your weight. But one of the things, like as trainers, we approach clients' lifestyle habits and changes from what's called the SMART goals. And any trainer will know what the SMART goals are, but the SMART goal is it an acronym? Is it called an acronym?
Yes.
Yes, it's an acronym. So SMART is SMART. So be specific. So I want to lose weight. That's not specific. Like, so being specific is I want to lose 30 pounds. Measurable. Use a scale, use a bioimpedance test, a tape measure. Is it attainable? So attainable and realistic in the SMART acronym they're very similar, aren't they?
Yeah.
But it's like, attainable and realistic, like, is it attainable based on, does it coincide with who you are, where you are in your life right now? Does it fit in? Is it realistic to fit in with the rest of the family, say? Because if somebody goes on a like diet at the beginning of January, but like you've got like 3 kids and a husband that doesn't want to adopt the same principle, then it's not really realistic, because you're going to get saboteurs. And the T in the SMART goals is timed, but a lot of people, yes, it's good to have goals and like an end date or a time frame, but a lot of the times with New Year's resolutions, people go like, I want to lose like 30 pounds by March. But yeah, is it attainable? Is it realistic? Like you've got to be like a little bit more like sensible about it. And
again, it's picking some lifestyle change or some habit that, again, something you can actually do. Look at your lifestyle in the minute and look at the goals you set. Do they match? If you've got a mismatch with your lifestyle and your goal, then you're never going to get to your goal, because you need to align your lifestyle to your goal.
Like, say, if there's saboteurs in the house,
there always is,
and it's not going to align, is it?
Well, no, and you can't kick the saboteurs out though. So pick something that will align.
No, you could.
True, that will align with with more kind of in line with what everybody else is doing, but will make changes to you. Again, an analogy versus short versus long term. So you go to the dentist and you have a cavity. You come back home and you brush your teeth for a month because you've had a cavity and you're really worried about it. Then you stop brushing your teeth. You'd never do that. You'd keep brushing your teeth forever and a day. Why? Because it's a habit that was ingrained into you as a child and you've kept doing it. Any other habits are the same. So it's not something, again, that short-term thing, I've had a cavity, I'll brush for a month, I'm sure everything will be okay after that. You're going to keep brushing. So making lifestyle changes is the same thing. So you're going to eat whole foods. Try to eat whole foods 80% of the time through the week and make that a lifestyle habit change. If you can do that, things will take time, but you will notice some differences. Like Karen said earlier on, one of the first ones is you'll start to detox yourself. Once you start to detox yourself, your hormones will start to balance. Once your hormones start to balance, then weight will start to come off naturally and things will come along. Again, like Karen said as well, it's patience. Like she said, everybody's short-term, quick go. Let's get the diet industry wheels rolling and take the quick fix shake and all the rest of it. But again, a lot of those things don't work. And when you look at all the habits in your day, we are really just the sum of all those habits. Everything you do in the day, majority of the time, is a habit. Because if we had to sit and think about everything consciously rather than the subconscious brain working, we'd be exhausted by lunchtime because your brain would be really working hard constantly. So a lot of the things we do are unconscious. So again, we are the sum of all those habits, whether it's good or bad.
And Einstein's definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So the 1st of January, most people will start probably the same diet that they started the previous year and doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. It doesn't work. And if we're doing something and it doesn't work...
I'm sure if you give it one more go, it will.
Well, it will. And then if we're doing something that doesn't work, then we'll usually try and do it louder, harder, longer, or more often. And if you think, if you're a parent out there, when your child doesn't understand, a parent will usually shout the exact same sentence rather than trying a new set of words or rephrasing it. And when punishment, like any quick fix diet, is a punishment, and when it doesn't change someone's behavior, the usual conclusion is that it wasn't enough, so you've got to do it more. So going back to you saying about the shakes, people will try these quick fix diets. Oh, I'm not losing the weight quick enough, so I'll starve myself even more and I'll take more shakes, or I'll reduce my calories even more. And like you say, when something doesn't work, you've got to look at it and go well, maybe this is the wrong process to be using. And so if it doesn't work, take a step back and look at what it is that isn't working. See if you can work with a coach. Yeah,
that's true. Yeah, again, just more for accountability than anything. And again, that's why we've said before, people have met with us for the first time. Oh, you've got to give me motivation. Well, you've come to the wrong spot for that. That's internal from you. And I was looking through Instagram the other day, and I think we've mentioned before the diary of a shrinking mom. She's a Winnipeg girl that lost a load of weight. And one of the things she said that really helped her is you have to show up every day. So when it comes to weight loss and when it comes to losing weight and changing your lifestyle, like she said, you can't just bit and bob and do a little bit here. You've got to show up every day. So if you're going to go to the gym 3 days a week, then you've got to show up and go to the gym 3 days a week. If you're going to eat healthy 80% of the time and then have a couple of splurges, show up for that 80% of the time. And that was really one of the last posts she did. I think that was just really her overarching message, was basically just show up.
We should stop stopping because if you want to splurge and have a few indulgences, we went out with friends. I I can say Mark and Rhonda again. I know that it
No.
seems like we're like humping them, but we went out. We went to brunch with them to this hotel in the city a week ago, was it?
Yeah, not long before Christmas.
And the buffet was amazing. Like, but it was, I'd say, like, virtually everything was pretty much whole foods. I mean, I overindulged on eggs Benedict, which I always do, and I wasn't going to go back and have seconds. And to be honest, I'm like, oh goodness, like, yeah, I did eat too much, but it was like whole foods. I had like salmon, I had squid, eggs and sausage, and obviously I had the muffin with the eggs Benedict, and I even had fruit, and it was just like, yeah, but like I say, we had supper that we went out that morning, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
And then we didn't eat until quite a lot later on in the evening, and it was, I don't know, was it a Sunday?
Yeah, it was a Sunday.
So normally we have our Sunday roast, and our Sunday roast was like just a way smaller.
Yeah, just we had lamb.
Yeah,
we had lamb, and what we didn't eat, we frozen. We had it again this Sunday, a week later. So I mean, it all works well. I'm sure you've got some statistics though on.
Well, I have, but I just wanted to
come on,
before I say that, people are
on the edge of the seats
I
now.
know,
You know,
but people always say that they fell off the wagon, like when it comes to like diets or healthy eating, and there's no wagon. You're not starring in Little House on the Prairie. There's no wagon to fall off of. It's just a lifestyle. Just if you want to, like say, indulge, we indulge with that breakfast, but we actually kind of indulged on like the good stuff. But so going.
Do you know where that saying comes from?
Falling off the wagon.
Being on the wagon.
Yeah, do you want to share it? Just as some useless like information here. We're full of it.
In England, believe it was 16th, 17th century, when they used to go and hang criminals, they would take them around the local town, and they would call in at the pub, and they would take them in handcuffs, and they would let them have a drink in the pub. And then when it came to the last pub, they wouldn't let them get off. They had to stay on the wagon. And so they were on the wagon until they were the noose was put around their necks. Yeah. So that's why they were on the wagon.
Yeah. So we have like other useless statistics, but so talking of statistics, people actually spend approximately $800 a year on weight loss products and diets, and people will also typically start a diet at least 3 times a year. And so we're definitely in the wrong industry. But when it comes to statistics, 95% of those who lose weight will actually regain it. And I only have to like reference the Biggest Loser TV show and go online and do some like Google searching on it and see just how many people actually did maintain the weight loss and how many actually gained it back. 25% of New Year's resolutions are abandoned after only 1 week.
Wow.
60% of New Year's resolutions are abandoned after 6 months. And 70% of weight loss initiatives actually fail. And the average person makes the same New Year's resolution 10 times without any success.
And it's not just New Year's resolutions, actually. There's a statistic out there that people who have had a heart attack, men mainly, they will actually not do anything about changing their diet or lifestyle until the 3rd heart attack. So we're creatures of habit, but it's making some good habits and trying to stick with them. Did you miss one off, sweetheart?
No. That was the one that I was just about to say, but you stole it.
Oh, okay. I did not see that. But so yeah, like we say, I mean, yes, make a resolution, but if now is the time of year you're going to start, make it manageable. And like Karen says, use the SMART goal. So be specific.
Measurable.
Be measurable. Make
it attainable. Yeah. Is it realistic?
And put a time on it. I mean, I
want to lose 30 pounds in the next week.
But do put a time on it more often than not, so you can kind of gauge your success. If you kind of got to that goal, and I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be weight. You might want to be able to run 5 kilometers by April. And I mean, yes, find a Coach to 5K online and go for it, but and then after that you can build some more or just stick with 5Ks or whatever you want to do. It isn't necessarily a weight loss thing. But again, just do make it, again, realistic and attainable. And that timing can just kind of give you just another parameter. But like we say, really, it's got to be kind of long term. And once you've kind of got that habit or whatever you're doing into, set another goal, set another small goal. Yes, I know it's going to take time. Yes, I know it's going to be a little bit tedious. Yes, I know you want it right away. But at the end of the day, it didn't take you 3 months to put however many pounds on you're trying to lose, 30, 40, 50 pounds. So, I mean, it came on very small increments over a long period of time, and vice versa. It will take sustainably smaller amounts for a long period of time to take it off.
And if you make it a lifestyle, then you can afford to splurge a little bit more. I mean, I want to reference my brother Chris and his wife Heather. I mean, they surprised me. We said this in a few podcasts ago when I had to make a trip back to the UK, and they surprised me and they visited here. And my brother knows that if he has gluten and bread products in his diet, then his back pain comes back. So throughout the year, him and Heather are very vigilant with regard to their nutrition and their diet. But when they were here, they actually said to us, didn't they? No, we're going to go out, we're going to have some food, we're just going to enjoy ourselves. And we're not really going to be that focused on
dogmatic about.
Yeah, exactly. And so Chris found that, throughout the week that him and Heather were here, the most of it he was okay, but then towards the end of that week, his back pain was coming a little bit more severe, and he
just stiffens up.
Yeah, and he was struggling getting out of the seat, when we're in this restaurant. But he knew the risks, he knew what was going to happen. But because throughout the year he is pretty vigilant with regard to what he eats, then yeah, he just splurged. He knew the risks, knew what was going to happen. But then as soon as he got home, everything was fine again.
And back to normal.
Yeah, so weight-wise and health-wise. So it's not, if you stop trying to force the issue and then wait until that 1st of January or whatever, then just, like you said, make it a lifestyle.
Yeah, and I don't know, pretty much that's it for a wrap for kind of 2019, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think so. So, yes, we will see you all in 2020.
Scary, eh?
Scary.
You've got to start wearing 20s outfits now.
Well, yeah, I know. Back in the back in the 20s now. It's 40 years ago since it was 1980.
Yeah, we're old.
Which is sad and true as well. If you have any questions or anything you want to ask or anything you want us to discuss on the podcast, please send it to questions@healthyhalfhourpodcast.com. And have a happy new year, and we'll see you next year.
That's all we have time for right now, but we do hope that you join us for our next show. And if you want to contribute to an upcoming show by suggesting a topic that you would like us to discuss in more detail, then hop over to our website, healthyhalfhourpodcast.com, subscribe to our podcast and submit your suggestions. The Healthy Half Hour Podcast was brought to you by the 7 Day Shred, and don't forget to share our details with your friends and review our show. Until next time, thanks for listening.